As I was a-walking one morning for pleasure, I spied a cow-puncher a-loping along. His hat was throwed back and his spurs was a-jingling, and as he approached he was a-singing this song. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's early in spring that we round up the doggies, mark them and brand them and bob off their tail. Round up the horses, load up the chuck wagon, and then throw the doggies up on that long trail. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, you know that Wyoming will be your new home. Your mother was raised away down in Texas, where the Jimson weed and the sandburrs do grow. Now we'll fill you up on prickly pear and cholla till you are all ready for the Idaho Trail. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, you know that Wyoming will be your new home. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-ho, get along, little doggies, you know that Wyoming will be your new home. Know that Wyoming will be your new home. She came to me, said she knew me, said she'd known me a long time, and she spoke of being in love with every mountain she had climbed, and she talked of where she'd walked up far above that timber line. From that night on, I knew I'd write a song with Carolina in the pine. There's a new moon on the 14th, first quarter 21st, and the full moon in the last week brings a fullness to this earth. There's no guesswork in the clockwork of this world's heart or mine. There are nights I only feel right, Carolina in the pine. When the frost shows on the windows and the wood stove smokes and glows, as a fire grows we can warm ourselves watching rainbows in the cold. And we'll talk of trails we walked up far above that timberline. There are nights I only feel right with Carolina in the pine. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie. These words came low and mournfully from the pallid lips of the youth who lay on his dying bed at the close of day. He had wasted and pined till o'er his brow death's shades were slowly gathering now. He thought of home and loved ones nigh as the cowboys gathered to see him die. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie where the coyotes howl and the winds blow free, in a narrow grave just 6 by 3. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie. It matters not, so I've been told, where the body lies when the heart grows cold. Yet grant, oh grant this wish to me. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie. Oh, bury me not. And his voice failed there, but they took no heed to his dying prayer. In a narrow grave just 6 by 3, they buried him there on the lone prairie. And the cowboys now, as they roam the plain, for they mark the spot where his bones were lain, fling a handful of roses o'er his grave, with a prayer to God his soul to save. Paladin, Paladin, where do you roam? Paladin, Paladin, far, far from home. Have gun, will travel, reads the card of the man. A knight without armor, savage land. His fast gun for hire heeds the calling wind of a soldier of fortune, a man called Paladin. Paladin, Paladin, where do you roam? Paladin, Paladin, far, far from home. He travels on to wherever he must. A chest knight of silver is his badge of trust. There are campfire legends the plainsmen spin of a man with a gun, of a man called Paladin. Paladin, Paladin, where do you roam? Paladin, Paladin, far, far from home. Far, far from home. Far, far from home. There is a man you hear about most every place you go. His holdings are in Texas, and his name is Diamond Joe, and he carries all his money in a diamond-studded jar, and he never was much bother for the process of the law. I hired out to Diamond Joe, boys. I did offer him my hand, and he gave me a string of horses so old they could not stand. I like to starve to death, boys. He did mistreat me so, and I never saved a dollar in the pay of Diamond Joe. Now his bread it was corn dodger, the meat I couldn't chaw, and he drove me near destruction by the wagging of his jaw. By the telling of this story, I aim to let you know that there never was a rounder that lied like Diamond Joe. I tried 3 times to quit him, boys, but he did argue so, and I'm still punching cattle in the pay of Diamond Joe. And when I'm called up yonder, and it comes my time to go, give my blankets to my buddies, give the fleas to Diamond Joe. Give my blankets to my buddies, give the fleas to Diamond Joe. They put Geronimo in jail way down south, where he couldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Sergeant, Sergeant, don't you feel there's something wrong with your automobile? Warden, Warden, listen to me, be brave and set Geronimo free. Governor, Governor, ain't it strange, you never see a car on the Indian Range. Hey boys, take me back, I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Hey boys, take me back, I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. People, people, don't you know, the Indians have got no place to go. You took old Geronimo by storm, then you ripped all the feathers off his uniform. Hey boys, take me back, I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Hey boys, take me back, I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Now Jesus said, and I believe it's true, the red man belongs in the sunset too. You took his land and won't give it back, then you sent Geronimo a Cadillac. Hey boys, take me back home, riding Geronimo's Cadillac. Hey boys, take me back home, riding Geronimo's Cadillac. Hey boys, take me back home, riding Geronimo's Cadillac. Hey boys, take me back home, riding Geronimo's Cadillac. To the town of Agua Fria rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. Came a-riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came a whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with a big iron on his head. Big iron on his head. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more. 1 in 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. 'Twas an Arizona ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He was here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead, and he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red. After Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made the slip. 21 would be that ranger with a big iron on his head. Big iron on his head. Now the morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death. About to meet his death. There was 20 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather, for the bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with that big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment, and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match that ranger with the big iron on his head. Big iron on his head. Big iron, when he tried to match that ranger with a big iron on his head, a big iron on his head. I am a reckless highwayman, Cole Younger is my name. Deeds of desperation brought my friends to shame. Robbing of the Northfield Bank never can deny, for which I am a prisoner, in the Stillwater jail I lie. Of all my bold robberies, a story I will tell, of a California miner, upon him I fell. Robbed him of his money, boys, made my getaway, for which I will be sorry of until my dying day. It's now we got fast horses, my brother Bob did say. It's now we got fast horses, make our getaway. We'll rob to seek our father's revenge, we will win the prize. We'll fight them anti-guerrilla boys until the day we die. We started off for Texas, that good old Lone Star State. On Nebraska's burning prairie, the James boys we did meet. With guns and knives, revolvers, we all sat down to play, planning of our worthless deeds to pass the time away. Then we saddled up our horses and northward we did go, to that forsaken country called Minnesota. We went to rob the Northfield Bank, and brother Bob did say, if we undertake that job, boys, you'll surely rue the day. So we stationed out our pickets and into town did go. It was there upon the counter, boys, we struck our fatal blow. Just hand us out your money and act without delay, for we are notorious youngers and we have no time to play. Then we got back on our horses and we rode out of town. But the lawmen pursued us and Jim was shot down. 3 of our brave companions made it home alive. 3 of our brave companions sleep beneath Minnesota skies. When I was a young man, I worked with a team, and me only delight was in keeping 'em clean. With brushes and curries, I'd show their fine color, and the name as they gave, I was a hearty good feller. As I do in the evening, I goes to my bed. The thought of my horses comes into my head. And as I rise morning with something to eat, just as soon as I can get my shoes on my feet. And as we go driving out on the highway, When light goes their load, why I feeds 'em some hay, and I gives 'em water when we comes to a pond. And after they've drunk, boys, move steadily on. My legs, they do get weary, a-walking by their side, and I says to myself, you must get up and ride. And as we go riding, I makes a new song, and as I do sing, you must learn it along. When I was a young man, I worked with a team, and me only delight was in keeping 'em clean. With brushes and curries, I'd show their fine color, and the name as they gave, I was a hearty good feller. All day I faced the barren waste without a taste of water. Cool water. Old Dan and I, with throats burned dry and souls that cry for water. Cool, clear water. The nights are cool and I'm a fool, each star's a pool of water. Cool water. With the dawn I'll wake and yawn and carry on to water. Cool, clear water. Keep a moving, Dan, don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man, and he spreads the burning sands with water. Dan, can you see that big green tree where the water's running free? It's waiting there for you and me. Water, cool, clear water. Shadows sway and they seem to say, tonight we pray for water, cool water. Way up there he'll hear our prayer and show us where there's water, cool, clear water. Keep a moving, Dan, don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man, and he spreads the burning sands with water. Dan, can you see that big green tree where the water's running free and it's waiting there for you and me? Water, cool, clear water. Dan's feet are sore and he's yearning for just one more thing than water, cool water. Like me, I guess he'd like to rest where there's no quest for water, cool, clear water. Cool, clear water. Wildcat Kelly's looking mighty pale, was standing by the sheriff's side, And when the sheriff said, I'm sending you to jail, Wildcat hung his head and cried. Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wild open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. To turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences, gaze at the moon till I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wild open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off to forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went along his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw, bowing through the ragged sky and up the cloudy draw. Their brands are still on fire and their hoofs are made of steel. Their horns are black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as it thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-i-oh, yippee-i-ay, those turn in the sky. Their face is gaunt, their eyes are blurred, their shirts all soaked with sweat. He's riding hard to catch that herd, but he ain't caught him yet. 'Cause they gotta ride forever on the range up in the sky, on horses snorting fire. As they ride on, hear their cry. Yippee-i-oh, yippee-i-ay, ghost riders in the sky. As the riders loped on by him, he heard one call his name. If you want to save your soul from hell, or riding on our range, then cowboy, change your ways today, or with us you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across that endless sky. Yippee-i-oh, yippee-i-ay, ghost riders in the sky. Yippee-i-oh, Ghost riders in the sky. When I was a lad, my dad had a mule. He was so devilish I couldn't even ride him to school. He acted like he didn't have no sense. You put a saddle on his back, he'd jump a 10-foot fence. Dad's old mule, you couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule. Wouldn't let you put it on, wouldn't let you put it on. You couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule, Dad's old mule. Well, Dad's mule, his name was Pete. He had long ears and great big feet. He'd creep along like he was almost dead. You put a saddle on his back, he put a in your head. When I was young and way down south, I saw Dad's mule kick the pipe out of his mouth. I got in his way while I was out at play. He kicked me so hard I thought it was the judgment day. Dad's old mule, you couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule. You couldn't put the saddle on, wouldn't let you put it on. You couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule, Dad's old mule. Well, Dad's mule was so poor he was thin as a rail. The biggest thing about him was his head and his tail. You put a saddle on that old hound, he'd haul off and kick the stable down. He was so old he didn't have a tooth. That old mule, he was so uncouth. He kicked Dad so hard he turned black and blue. Just the wind from his foot gave Dad the flu. Dad's old mule, you couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule. Wouldn't let you put it on. You couldn't put the saddle on. Wouldn't let you put it on Dad's old mule, Dad's old mule. Well, whenever Dad wanted to have some fun, he tried to ride that old son of a gun. That old mule would kick up so much dirt, all you could see was Dad's old red shirt. Dad's old mule, he was awful mean. He was the meanest old mule I'd ever seen. He kicked Dad so high one afternoon, I thought Dad was the man in the moon. Dad's old mule, you couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule. You couldn't put the saddle on, wouldn't let you put it on. You couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule, Dad's old mule. Well, Dad loved that old mule, hair and hide. He kept him 40 years till the day he died. He lived so long till his head got bald. I thought that mule would never die at all. When Dad's mule laid down and died, my dad made a pair of boots out of his old hide. His old hide was so hard and tough, Dad couldn't even wear his boots to strut his stuff. Dad's old mule, you couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule. You couldn't put the saddle on, wouldn't let you put it on. You couldn't put the saddle on Dad's old mule, Dad's old mule, Dad's old mule. I've been walking these streets along, singing the same old song. I know every crack of these dirty sidewalks of Broadway, where hustle's the name of the game, and nice guys get washed away like the snow in the rain. There'll be a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, but I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy, riding out in a horse in a star-spangled rodeo. A rhinestone cowboy, getting cards and letters from people I don't even know.
offers coming over the phone. I really don't mind the rain, and a smile can hide all the pain. You're down when you're taking the train, you're taking the long way. And I'll dream of the things I'll do, with a subway token and a dollar tucked inside of my shoe. There'll be a load of compromising on the road to my horizon. But I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me. A rhinestone cowboy, riding out on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo. A rhinestone cowboy, getting cards and letters from people I don't even know, and offers coming over the phone. Rhinestone cowboy, riding out on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo. A rhinestone cowboy, getting cards and letters from people I don't even know, and offers coming over the phone.
When the rain came, I thought you'd leave, 'cause I knew how much you'd love the sun. But you chose to stay and keep me warm through the darkest nights I'd ever known. If the mandolin wind couldn't change a thing, then I know that I love you. Oh, the snow fell without a break. Buffalo died in the frozen fields, you know. Through the coldest winter in almost 14 years, I couldn't believe you kept a smile. I can rest assured, knowing that we've seen the worst, and I know that I love you. I never was much with romantic words, so the next few lines come really hard. I don't have much, but what I've got is yours, except of course my old guitar. 'Cause I know you don't play, but I'll teach you one day, because I love you. I recall the night I knelt and prayed, noticing your face was thin and pale. found it hard. Hide my tears, felt ashamed. I felt I'd let you down. No meddling wind could ever change a thing, because I love you. No meddling wind could ever change a thing, could ever change a thing. No, no. A lonely spot I know where no man will go. The shadows have all the room. I was riding free on the old SP, humming a southern tune, when a man come along, made me hush my song, kicked me off away out there. Well, I set down my load in that desert road, I rested my weary leg. I watched the setting sun make the tall shadows run out across a barren plain. Then I hummed a tune to the rising moon. She gets lonesome way out there. Well, I closed my eyes to the starlit skies, lost myself in dream. I dreamed the desert sand was a milk and honey land. Then I awoke to the stars. There's a train coming back on that one-way track, gonna carry me away from here. As she passed me by, I caught her on the fly, climbed in an open door. I looked around at that desert ground, the spot I would see no more. As I was riding away, I heard that pale moon say, "So long, pal, it sure gets lonesome here."
Long about 18 and 25, I left Tennessee very much alive. And I never would have got through the Arkansas mud if I hadn't been riding that Tennessee stud. Had some trouble with my sweetheart's pa, and one of her brothers was a bad outlaw. I sent her a letter by my Uncle Bud, and I rode away on a Tennessee stud. The Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun in his eyes are green. He had the nerve and he had the blood, and there never was a horse like the Tennessee stud. I drifted on down into no man's land, across that river called the Rio Grande. I raced my horse with the Spaniard's foal till I got me a skin full of silver and gold. Me and the gambler, we couldn't agree, we got in a fight over Tennessee. We jerked our guns and he fell with a thud. I rode away on a Tennessee stud. The Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun in his eyes are green. He had the nerve and he had the blood, and there never was a horse like the Tennessee stud. I got just as lonesome as a man can be, dreaming of a girl in Tennessee. The Tennessee stud's green eyes turned blue, 'cause he was a-dreaming of a sweetheart too. We eloped right back across Arkansas, I whooped her brother and I whooped her paw. When I found that girl with the golden hair, she was a-riding that Tennessee mare. The Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun in his eyes are green. He had the nerve and he had the blood, and there never was a horse like the Tennessee stud. Stirrup to stirrup and side by side, we crossed the mountains and the valleys wide. We came to Big Muddy and we forded a flood on the Tennessee mare and the Tennessee stud. There's a pretty little baby on the cabin floor and a little horse colt playing around the door. I love that girl with the golden hair, and the Tennessee stud loves the Tennessee mare. The Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun in his eyes are green. He had the nerve and he had the blood, and there never was a horse like the Tennessee stud. As I walked out in the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in Laredo one day, I spied a young cowboy all wrapped in white linen, wrapped in white linen as cold as the clay. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Sing the death march as you carry me along. Take me to the valley, there lay the sod o'er me. I'm a young cowboy and I know I've done wrong. I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he did say as I boldly walked by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. Got shot in the breast and I know I must die. Go fetch me some water, a cool cup of water, to cool my parched lips, then the poor cowboy said. Before I returned, his spirit had left him, had gone to his maker,
the cowboy was dead. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Sing the death march as you carry me along. Take me to the valley, there lay the sod o'er me. I'm a young cowboy and I know I've done wrong. I'm weary and tired, I've done my day's riding. Nighttime is rolling my way. The sky's all on fire and the light slowly fading. Peaceful and still ends the day. Out on the trail, the night birds are calling, singing their wild melody. Down in the canyon, the cottonwood whispers a song of Wyoming for me. I've wandered around the town and the city, try to figure the how and the why. I've stopped all my scheming, I'm just drifting and dreaming, watching that river roll by. Here comes that big old prairie moon rising, shining down bright as can be. Up on that hill, the coyote is singing the song of Wyoming for me. Now it's jerky and tobacco and bitter black coffee, a lonesome old doggie am I. But waking up on the range, I feel like an angel. I feel like I almost could fly. Drift like a cloud out over the badland, sing like a bird in a tree. The wind in the sage sounds like heaven singing a song of Wyoming for me. A song of Wyoming